Heyo, it's Bradley, Roots of Norwood. Welcome back. Today we are doing a how-to on sprouts. 3 days you can have yourself a jar of alive seeds full of nutrients. So stay tuned. Hopefully this will be a lot shorter than my last videos, but if you are new here and you haven't seen, many people will be new here. Not many views so far, but it's just the beginning. So, with that said, this is just a how-to on, I guess, focused on they call it the protein powerhouse mix. We got garbanzos, adzuki, mung bean, and, well, let me just read the package because I forget. Oh, peas. Green peas. Silly me. So, yeah, 3 days you can have this. So, to start, woo! Camera almost down. To start, well, for what you might need, seeds. I started with a pound bag. I burned through those. I've moved on to the 5-pound. I go through them quite a bit. So, with that said, this is how it all started. Pasta mason jar. That was a pasta sauce jar. Washed it out, cut out a piece of cheesecloth, put a rubber band around it, and this was my container to start. And to drain it, I actually drained it into like lettuce containers. Now I'm into reused avocado containers. I just tip them up like so on against my counter back there. Put a little tack mat down so they don't slide, and bada bing, bada boom. Right now they're straight up just because they're finished and they're ready to go in the fridge for a couple days and get consumed. So this cheesecloth, it was too porous for water to go through, so I just poked some holes in it and it worked fine. Then I upgraded to the plastic lids. Those are fine, but I'm over them. To say the least. Granted, I just got in the stainless steel. So if I could have had a choice to save time and convenience, I would have skipped the cheesecloth, not purchased this, and gone for the stainless steel. Oh man, I still never checked, but I think it's the 316, the high-end stainless steel that won't rust out. So then it comes with these little racks so you can tip them up. Nowadays, don't use them. I'm really into just this little tray. It's so simple. This is all you have to rinse out in between your rinses each day. So, yeah, you don't need a lot to start other than the seed. And you want to make sure that is directed at sprouting or microgreens. The germination rate. But also it's been pathogen and disease tested to make sure that's not transferring over, because it's not the same as a seed you're just growing out in the garden. So with that said, yeah, let's get into it. Seeds not to sprout, by the way. I'm gonna put that up on here. I think it's peppers, tomatoes, I forget what other. Alright, so let's pull up the good old internet, and in Google I searched what families of seeds shouldn't be consumed as sprouts. Nightshade plants, also known as the Solanaceae family, include common foods like tomatoes, hot and sweet peppers, eggplants, potatoes, and goji berries. Typically you don't have seeds from potatoes. I mean, I guess you could. I don't know, I haven't came across it. Goji berries though, grew some last year. Well, the plant from seed that I got from the store bought goji berries. It's a whole nother thing. I got to give it a go again. I saved seeds from the plant that grew, but it never grew berries. So we'll see. But anywho, back to it. These plants can contain toxins like solanin, particularly in their leaves, stems, and sprouts. But additionally, I wanted to make this little tidbit insert to say, additionally, some other seeds to avoid sprouting for consumption include rhubarb. Contains very high levels of oxalic acid, which is poisonous in the leaves. Oxalates, yeah, I mean, oxalates to any kind of huge intake level can be bad, or especially if you just have kidney issues and kidney stones in general. But so yeah, oxalates, know about it when you are consuming plants. Don't freak out. Don't just know about oxalates, but don't freak out. They're in everything. Just for the most part, they're at low levels in most. But gosh, I'm all over. Certain beans, specifically raw kidney beans and lima beans, contain phytohemagglutinin. Yeah, phytohemagglutinin, a toxin found in sprouted beans and seedlings. So, kidney beans, lima beans, no bueno. Fruit tree seeds, such as apple and pear seeds, contain cyanide and tannins, which are poisonous in the seeds and seedlings. Let's talk on that because, well, not that I typically eat my apple seeds, but so many apple seeds actually sprout within the core of the apple, I found. Is there a release of cyanide within that like enclosed structure of the apple, and the tannins? Who knows actually? That's a interesting statement to come across, and then from my experience. But okay, so yeah, gosh, I could go all over the place, but which are poisonous in the seed and seedlings. And then non-edible peas, certain varieties, I won't even get into that. But so yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fruit tree seeds and the raw kidney beans and the lima beans not being sprouted, were other additives that I thought were interesting and important to talk about. Goji seeds as well, because goji seed plant produces like thousands of little bean or seeds. And you might think, oh, that's a mass amount of seeds I could sprout and maybe get some nutrients from. But yeah, along with those nutrients might be some toxins that the plant produces versus chemicals, aka phytocompounds. I guess some phytochemicals turn toxin. So it's all looped into those words, and just know which ones might have more toxins than the other. And oxalates, if you don't know,
up in the
now
body.
you know.
So yeah, beans, grains, like right here's a 3-part mix, which is broccoli, radish, and alfalfa. This 12-pack, the 12-pounder pack, hopefully you've gotten it. If not, go get it. It's a great way to start because you can just experiment, mess around with a lot of stuff. It doesn't come with grains, but I ordered spelt. I don't know if I say that properly, but it is a complete protein containing all of the amino acids, and it is the most amazing thing I've ever tasted. No, I mean, I've tasted a lot of amazing things, but the sweetness that comes out of this when you sprout grains, this thing is just like it's like eating healthy sugar that's full of fiber and protein. So yeah, so many options. I hope I'm not wrong to say hundreds of options for sprouting, but there's quite a bit of options. So first off is going
Alright, and so if you watch the video right before this,
the how-to, or my why, I just went into a lot of, I rambled about a lot, but then I went in on water, and you want to make sure, sure, if you want to buy filtered water and buy the bottle and use that, and okay, I've certainly do that to consume water, but when it comes to this factor, it might not be feasible. So with that said, if you have reverse osmosis, yes, use it. If you're on well water, you might be, hey, if it's been tested and you like what you're working with, then use that. But chlorinated water is what we're really not wanting. So this is tap water that I've let sit. It's been sitting for a few days now. But yeah, when I fill it up, so it's not filtered water per se, which isn't great, but it is certainly, the chlorine has dissipated. I talked about liquid chlorine, and if you got that, then, well, that might not dissipate as easily as chlorinated water will, by leaving it exposed to air, to kind of off gas. So water's just big. And then another factor to it, make sure it's room temp. shocking the seeds initially with cold water might not lead to the best results. So yeah, when it comes to, for instance, let's say use this, there's no right or so much wrong on how. So for instance, there's a little card here. I don't have my book through True Leaf Market. It's on these, I'm filling them up to about like right somewhere in here. This is it sounds terrible, but again, it's not an exact science. Try and mix up the beans a little bit so I get more garbanzo. But here's going to be a third cup. And I did do 2/3. And honestly, this card, this little cheat sheet that comes with one of the products, it states 3/5 of a cup. So I'm going to do, it's not exact, a little for next time. Because again, this is about how much I did, and it's just got a little bit of an inch at the top. So there we go. I'm going to add water just to where there's enough to cover them all, right about there. When it comes to the ratio of hydrogen peroxide, I've always just been a winger, kind of more like a 1, 2, 3, but technically it's probably more like that. Maybe a 7-second pour. It's an 8. You want a 1/8 to a 1/10 ratio. Is kind of that range of what people use. Then we would simply just swirl around, start to work off kind of that. All the seeds have a coating. You can already see the water getting a little hue to it. That's what we're going to want to rinse off. So whether you do this for 15 minutes, rinse it, and fill it back up with the hydrogen peroxide mixture and let it soak. Sure, I've done that. I've also not rinsed after 15 minutes, and it works, but also, as you can see, you want to drain that out because it's pulling off all that residue, and there's a bunch of like, that seed coating has quite a bit of hootenanny on it. So I'm definitely, nowadays, after 15 minutes of this soak, I'll strain it. These two came out the same, ideally, with one having a 15-minute soak and then one having a not 24-hour, but a 12-hour soak. Because with beans, like I said in the last video, I do believe, yeah, I did. For these, they state, I don't even know if it states on this container, but 12 hours is roughly best on, I mean, a lot of things will say one way or the other. For instance, like this 3-part mix here, 4 to 6 hours. So I'll just hit 6 hours. So anything with small seeds, up to even lentils, I guess. This has some radish seed in it. I will do 6 hours. If it's beans, I'll do 12 hours. I don't really think more into it, and everything's kind of been fine. So we're gonna let 15 minutes go by, and we'll come back and strain this. Voila, 15 minutes later. One last little swirl, and I just have a little waste container right here for my water today, so I don't have to jump all around to the sink. So you can pour that not appeasing looking water out. And then I'm just gonna go ahead, and with these beans, I mean, within 12 hours, they're gonna swell. So at least they're gonna come up at least half of their height right now. So I'm gonna go to at least about halfway full on water. With anything broccoli, alfalfa, radish, the mixtures, the small beans, you don't need to worry so much about that. Also, if you want, you could rinse off at this point. I kind of like having a little hydrogen peroxide, I guess, lingering in there. So I'm going to leave it And put the strainer lid back on so it can breathe. Definitely don't want to like cap it with a regular mason jar lid or something. And then from there, we're just gonna keep it in a dark place. So I simply just go right up here, put it in here, close it. I'll come back 12 hours later and we'll move into day 2. So day 1 complete. Disclaimer, this is not actually day 2, but we're gonna pretend like it is. So, head up in the cabinet. Let's pretend these have soaked for 12 hours and now they're probably up to here. They've just swelled. So, come over, strain out our water. I mean, if you want, you can give it, I guess, a couple rinses. Definitely, we're gonna rinse once after this and kind of go through the redundant steps over the next few days. So from there, I will just simply fill with water. And I will say, you can pour straight through the stainless steel lids so much easier than the plastic ones. For some reason, on these plastic ones, you cannot do that. So another bonus to the stainless steel. Depending on how long they stay rust free, I'm gonna be pretty excited with them. So then from there, I mean, I always like, I swirl it. Is it necessary? No, but I just have this weird tendency to swirl. So after you fill it with non-chlorinated, at least, that's what I work with. But if you have the filtered water, reverse osmosis well water, and you trust the well water, go ahead and use that. And you're simply just going to strain it. A lot of people might use this on a house plant, so this would have been great to actually put over a house plant. On day 2, you won't hear that. All the beans will soften up and they'll start to, in a sense, germinate and come to life. So this sound won't be heard on day 2. Now, what we're going to do, and like I said, I used to do this. So on day 2, a lot more of these beans will kind of not all just slide and fall down, but from there you're just going to tip it at an angle so it can strain out any excess water down here and let it sit and cover it up. But nowadays I'm kind of over this because I'm just, I don't want to say lazy, but I'm saving an extra step on moving this, cleaning the undersides of these, because that water will drip down and it can get grody at times. So with that said, over this, even though if you have it, use it. And now I just simply, with that counter, whatever this is, this counter liner that it has that tackiness to it. It just prevents this from sliding. You just lean it up at an angle, reuse one of these avocado trays, and it works wonders. Then, again, it can grow in the light like this. You can keep it out just like that. These I just uncovered. They've been in the dark for their whole growing process. So, with that said, if I were just not if, yeah, because again we're pretending. But so let's say this is the morning of day 2. We've just drained out the soaking water, the water it was soaking in to germinate from day 1, and now we're rinsing it out and just leaving it up to strain any excess water. And we're gonna come back, if you can, give it a rinse at noon, maybe 6 hours later. But if not, definitely make sure to get it when say you know, when I'm working all like through the main chunk of the day, they'll just get morning and dinner. But if I'm home and I'm around for lunch or something, I might give them a water. It can't hurt. So it's 2 to 3 times a day typically is that like go-to watering recommendation. So definitely not once. You might have some issues at the end of your day if you just hit it with one bit of water. On the last few days of some of the sprout, like with broccoli and all the mixtures of the smaller seeds, you can slow down on your watering, but they still need at least once a day on the last few days. But yeah, so let's just fast forward to the end of day 2. Now we're at the end of day 2, and at this point, these would all just be swelling and starting to just fill up, and you'll notice little white tails the roots starting to pop out. Obviously, it's not happening since we're zooming through this, but do the same thing. Add some non-chlorinated at least, or filtered water. Give it a little swirl. Maybe go hit this with a houseplant. Don't hit the houseplant with this, but pour that water into one of your houseplants to feed it. It can't hurt unless you got some funk going on in these things. But from there, let's say this is the evening of day 2. Pop it back right there. Cover it up. And then we're going to wait for day 3. All right, makeshift day 3. Here we go. Pretending it's day 3, same thing goes again. At this point, I mean, these will just be swelling. Because, yeah, they'll at least be, I'd say, halfway full right now. Come end of day 3, they're going to be pushing up here. And then beyond day 3, they're right where this is. So within 3 days, and that was my tummy saying, give me some sprouts. Within 3 days, you can have a whole jar of seeds full of life. Beans, in this case. But again, whether it's a seed or a bean or what have you, the sprouting process is just simply bringing these dead seeds to life. I mean, they're full of DNA and they know what to do once activated, but we have to activate them. So, I mean, it just, one of my buddies, shout outs Tom, he heard this quote and someone said, you shouldn't eat food that makes you feel dead, you should eat food that makes you feel alive. And like, that's whole 100% how I'm trying to like consume food now. Yeah, there might be some times where my food has not much nutritional value. No, that's a lie. I'm really striving for that these days. But so anywho, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like I put a post on Instagram that was simply, I was pretending to go for a can of the pinto beans. And yes, they don't compare to mung and adzuki and garbanzo and peas, totally different. But again, these are just dead in a can, soaking in like, well, it's just water and sea salt, but still, it's just, they're dead, you know? These have been brought to life and are just full of everything. Like mung beans, high in choline, protein, amino acid, methionine, I don't know, vitamins A, B complex, C and E, minerals, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus. I mean, radishes have A, B1, B6, C. I'm just reading this thing right here. So, and I mean, it just goes on. So I like the mixtures because now I'm taking 3 to 5 of these and incorporating them into one. And I mean, you're just upping the potential of consuming nutrients. So, yeah, so forget where we were on. We're pretending this is day 3. So boom, day 3, morning of day 3. Then go ahead and cover it. And again, you don't have to cover it from the light, but if you want a better yield for your time, I mean, it's not much time and it's not much money in the long run, but if you want a better yield, covering it and letting them do their growth phase these first few days in the dark, most optimal. So if you don't have a place or a towel to cover it, just let them chill like this. They will come to life, just not the same as what they are covered. Fast forwarding. All right, we're gonna pretend it's day 3.
By this point, well, actually, I should have just used these as my examples. These are what I used last night. I used half of these in a meal. But at the end of day 3, at the very least, you're going to be up to here. Then we're just going to give it one more rinse. So, actually, let's pretend. Let's move on to this one. Pretending it's day 3. Give it one last rinse. Oh, see? That's the plastic lid. Goes everywhere. What do you know? Alright, so day 3, let's say they'd be, the tails wouldn't be as long here, but anywho, fill it with one last bit of water, give it a strain. All this water, I don't do this, typically it's in my sink. I'm just keeping it here so I can just... So, let's say this is the evening of day 3. I'm going to go ahead, tilt that one last time, cover it up. And then on the morning of day 4, even that night, I mean, again, you could start using these, but I'm going to let them sit one last time to keep them covered. On beans, they don't really need too much exposure to chlorophyll for, not to say any purpose, but the light exposure at the end isn't really relevant to bean mixtures. So, with that said, day 4, you'd probably have a full jar. Not probably, you will. You'll have a full jar of sprouts. And then from there, can't just let them sit like this. They will become problematic. So, apple cider vinegar is said to be best to soak in a solution of. So, I typically like to use them up, eating them raw as quickly as possible. But let's say you can't get to them and eat them, consume them raw. If you notice the roots start to get a little tinge to them or a little bit of discoloration, don't just eat them. I mean, yeah, you can, but you want to make sure at the end of this process, soak them in like an apple cider vinegar solution. So, I would just give a nice tablespoon pour, even teaspoon to tablespoon pour of apple cider vinegar into here, along with your filtered water or whatever water you've been using. Let it sit and strain, and that will hopefully kind of neutralize any kind of bacteria that might have been created in this this condition up here, you know, because there's a lot of moisture trapped in here. There's not so much air movement. The only air is down here. But then from there, maybe put them into a container like this and make sure they're dry. That's one big thing that you hear a lot. Make sure they're dry. And yeah, so you don't, they're living. I mean, these seeds are still, I'll never forget, I took this spelt and I set it aside, and what did I do with it? I put it in the fridge because it had a few pieces left, and I put some like composted like food that I was going to throw outside in the jar, and I was like just waiting to take it out. And I come back to it, and these spelts have just filled up, like they're just seedlings are coming up out of them now and in the jar. And with that said, they're going to continue to live and grow, and you want to make sure as they do so, they're able to breathe. So putting them in a sealed airtight container wouldn't be the best. I'll sometimes just do this, just to be lazy. After I've done the rinse of apple cider vinegar, I'll keep them in the fridge like this to where airflow is still happening down here. And hopefully I'm consuming these within a day or two, you know. So yeah, 3 days. You can start to nom on these even sooner. You can, as soon as they germinate and those little tails start to pop out, they've softened up and they're not a hard bean that's just dead, and you can eat them. As long as they got a little tail popping out, they've germinated, they're alive, they're ready to go. As you let them grow more and more though, yeah, they're gonna fill with
more nutrition and what have you. So, but yeah, that is my little bit by bit on sprouts.
If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thank you.